For over 80 years, Walt Disney Animation has been legendary for its slate of animated features. But which ones truly stand the test of time with both critics and audiences? I'll tell you right now on Screen Junkies News. Disney has produced some of the most famous and beloved animated films of all time. So beloved that many of your requests for our next number crunching video asked me to find out which ones stand out as the most popular of all time. Now, before I explain these rankings, I do want to tell you up front that this list does not include Pixar films, even those that were co-produced with Disney. But that does seem like a great candidate for its own list, right? Now, like I did with comic book movies, I used 4 main metrics to come up with these rankings. For critics, I measured the film's Metacritic score where available and its average rating on Rotten Tomatoes, not the tomato meter. For fans, I used the average rating from fans on Rotten Tomatoes and the movie's IMDb score. Now, using these numbers, I generated a composite score for both fans and critics, then averaged them for the movie's final ranking. So, which Disney films made the top 10 according to both critics and audiences? Let's find out. Now, before we look at the top 10, I thought it might be interesting to see the bottom 5. Of the 56 movies eligible for this list, these are the ones that audiences and critics would prefer to forget. 2 movies actually tie for the 5th lowest ranking on the list, 1988's Oliver and Company and 1985's The Black Cauldron. Both of these movies are products of what some call the Disney Dark Age of animation, though The Black Cauldron is the only one of these 2 films that's regarded as a critical and commercial failure. The Black Cauldron was the first Disney animated film to receive a PG rating, while Oliver and Company played it safer with its G-rated retelling of Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist. 4 21st century Disney animated films round out the bottom 5, starting with number 4, 2003's Brother Bear starring Joaquin Phoenix. Brother Bear was a financial success, earning $250 million worldwide and an Oscar nomination for Best Animated Feature, but fans and critics were not as impressed. At number 3 is 2001's Atlantis: The Lost Empire, an attempt from Disney to modernize their animated films to be more adventurous and feature more computer animation. Atlantis was a moderate box office disappointment, but features an all-star voice cast, including Michael J. Fox and many beloved actors that have since passed away, including Leonard Nimoy, Jim Varney, James Garner, John Mahoney, and David Ogden Stiers. The second lowest score goes to 2005's Chicken Little, starring Zach Braff, and while it may be low on this list, it performed well at the box office, grossing over $300 million worldwide. Critics in particular were not fond of this film, though. It tied Brother Bear for the worst score on the critics list. And coming in dead last is the film that also had the lowest score in the fan rankings, 2004's Home on the Range. Featuring a voice cast including Roseanne Barr, Judi Dench, and Randy Quaid, Home on the Range was a financial failure and a low point for Disney Animation before its recent resurgence. It is also, according to fans and critics, the least popular Disney animated film of all time. But enough of these downers. Let's get to what fans and critics have deemed the top 10 Disney animated films ever made. Now, tied for number 10 are a trio of classic films from Disney's library: 1942's Bambi, 1959's Sleeping Beauty, and 1941's Dumbo. Now, while Dumbo was a big moneymaker for Disney when it was released, Bambi and Sleeping Beauty were mega hits, fueled by multiple releases that have earned over $1.2 billion domestically combined if you adjust for inflation. Their presence on the list is fueled by love from the critics, who ranked these 3 movies 5th and tied for 6th on their list. Get ready for more ties because there are a bunch of them on this list. Tied at the number 9 spot are 2 modern Disney animated films, Tangled and Wreck-It Ralph. Grossing over $1 billion combined worldwide, both films are on this list thanks to their support with fans, who ranked them 4th and 5th respectively. Tangled lives on as an animated series running on the Disney Channel, while Wreck-It Ralph will return to theaters later this year in Ralph Breaks the Internet, Wreck-It Ralph 2. 2 of the most popular Disney characters share a spot, as Ariel's The Little Mermaid and Elsa's Frozen tie for number 8. Both movies have special places in Disney's history. The Little Mermaid is acknowledged as the beginning of Disney's second golden age back in 1989, and Frozen is the most successful animated film of all time, grossing over $1.2 billion worldwide. The Little Mermaid appeared on both the fans and critics' top 10 lists, while Frozen has a fan ranking of number 5, tied with Wreck-It Ralph, to thank for its placement here. Holding down the number 7 spot all by itself is Big Hero 6. While the film didn't appear on the critics' top 10 list, it landed at number 3 on the fan list. Based on an obscure Marvel comic book property, Big Hero 6 grossed over $650 million worldwide and won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature in 2015. Now, while there are no current plans for a big screen sequel, Baymax will live on in Big Hero 6 the series, which is premiering sometime in 2018. Two classics tie at the number 6 spot with 1992's Aladdin and 1977's The Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh sharing a spot just outside the top 5. Aladdin was a monster hit for Disney back in 1992, largely off the back of Robin Williams' landmark vocal performance as the genie.
Are you looking at me? Did you rub my lamp?
The Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh actually consists of 3 previously existing short films stitched together with new material to give it structure and released as a feature. Both films were loved by both fans and critics, appearing on the top 10 lists of both groups. Kicking off the top 5 are movies that feature Disney's first princess and its latest, 1937's landmark Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and 2016's Moana. Moana was a worldwide mega hit and a favorite with fans and critics who both ranked it in their top 10.
I could watch that all day.
It was also nominated for the Best Animated Feature Oscar, but lost to another film that you might see later on this list. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is the movie that started it all, Disney's first animated feature and the first feature-length hand-animated movie ever released.
Mark my words, there's trouble a-brewing.
It was recognized by the Academy Awards with an honorary Oscar for its innovation, and adjusted for inflation is one of 10 movies ever released to take in $1 billion domestically over its lifetime, the only animated film to achieve that feat. The number 4 spot features the final tie on our top 10 list and features 2 Disney films known for their music, 1991's Beauty and the Beast and 1940's Fantasia. Though it earned Walt Disney another honorary Oscar, Fantasia was a financial failure upon its initial release, causing significant problems for the then struggling Disney. It wasn't until decades later that its mix of visuals and classical music struck a chord with audiences. Beauty and the Beast, on the other hand, was a huge success for Disney and became the first of only 3 animated films to ever be nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, alongside Up and Toy Story 3. While Beauty and the Beast did lose Best Picture, it picked up 2 Academy Awards for Best Original Song and Best Original Score. All Alone at number 3 is the second animated feature from Disney, 1940's Pinocchio. While audiences ranked the film tied for 14th on their list, critics vaulted it to this high position with a 9.1 score, tops among all Disney films on the critics list. Released the same year as Fantasia, 1940, Pinocchio was also a box office disappointment that earned its success through re-releases and home video decades later. Like Beauty and the Beast, Pinocchio won 2 Oscars for Best Original Song and Best Original Score, making it the first animated film to win competitive Academy Awards. Its main theme, When You Wish Upon a Star, has since been adopted as the tune for the Walt Disney Company itself. Another Oscar winner for Best Animated Feature lands at number 2, 2016's Zootopia. Zootopia was number 9 on the critics list, but lands at number 2 based off of its 8.4 audience score, making Zootopia the number 1 fan favorite Disney animated film.
Congratulations, Officer Hops.
I won't let you down.
Zootopia is one of 6 animated films to gross over $1 billion at the worldwide box office, along with Despicable Me 3, Finding Dory, Toy Story 3, Minions, and Frozen. Finally, the king of this list is also the king of the jungle. The Lion King rules the pride at number 1 with a score of 8.275, largely due to a top 5 ranking on both the critics and fans' top 10 lists. Like so many other Disney films, The Lion King won Oscars for Best Original Song and Score, and is the only Oscar win so far for prolific composer Hans Zimmer, as well as music superstar Elton John.
Hakuna Matata.
The Lion King is one of the top 20 domestic grossers of all time, adjusted for inflation, and has made almost $1 billion worldwide since its release in 1994. The Lion King was the second highest US release of 1994 behind Forrest Gump, rounding out that top 5, True Lies, The Santa Claus, and The Flintstones. With so many beloved animated classics, there are surely some that didn't make the cut, including fan favorites like The Jungle Book, Robin Hood, and The Princess and the Frog, which made the fan top 10, or 101 Dalmatians, which made the critics top 10. Which one of your favorites didn't make the cut? I myself am partial to Lady and the Tramp. Tell us in the comments below and let me know what franchise or genre you want me to tackle next time and crunch the numbers. Thanks for watching. I'm Dan Murrell.